Yo, what up guys, it's your boy Williams Fitness back again with another video, and as you can see on screen we have got our top 9 qualified bodybuilders for the Men's Open Mr. Olympia 2021. We've got Big Ramy, we've got Phil Heath, usual suspects on there. But what I want to cover today is the gut issue that is still rife and pronounced, pun intended, in bodybuilding today. And this is a twofold angle I want to play on this. And angle is the key word I want to use. Now, as you can see on screen right now, we have got Big Ramy, who's the current Mr. Olympia 2020. And we've got the New York Pro winner, Nick Walker, from the weekend just gone. As you can see, they're hitting their mandatory poses. Some poses face on look really nice. They look symmetrical. They look even. The waist kind of looks tapered from face on. But when we hit the side shots or we get the side angles, as you can see from some of the photos I'm about to put on screen, that thickness is still there, which is why I said this was twofold. Now, symmetrically from the front, which they're going to be judged on. So if it's a double bicep, they're going to be judged on it from the front. If it's a back shot, they're going to be judged on it from the back. Makes sense, doesn't it? You know, I don't think that needs explaining any further. But when you see photos of the midsection, when they're showing off a particular muscle group, and let's say the back shot, let's use Big Ramy's back shot for example, and then he hits a shot like this, and then you see that midsection that is not tapered, there's no vacuum going on. And obviously this subject has been flogged all over YouTube for the last 10 years. I think Louis Marco spawned the phrase bubble gut. I think it's still a massive issue. I'm going to say it. I'm going to address the the elephant in the room. It is an issue. I do think the likes of, Phil Heath obviously brought it to light because he was at the top of the game and still winning with this issue. Now, this is where I said, obviously on the thumbnail, bubble gut of champions. Bubble gut of champions. Does it actually make a difference if you hit the mandatory shots and you hit those poses on point and the judges are happy and satisfied with them? As a consumer of bodybuilding, as a fan of the sport, personally, I think over the last 15 to 20 years, bodybuilding took a massive change. It went from, this normal, I say normal in quotations. Let's go from golden era. Let's say the Arnie era. Guys were big back then. We thought they were huge. Turns out they weren't that big. If you put Arnie up against Phil Heath, Arnie in his prime against Phil in his prime, Phil, is going to outshine him, outsize him, outmass him, outclass him in regards to the different style of bodybuilding. Because bodybuilding as we know it today is mass monster. I'm not taking anything away from Arnie, but Arnie can't compete with today's bodybuilders. Same as, if you put Phil Heath on a stage back in the 80s, it doesn't look good, it doesn't look right, because that's not what they were being judged on. Back to my point, what are they being judged on? They're being judged on symmetrics, they're being judged on, muscle flow, muscle bellies, muscle fullness. So if they're hitting the mandatory shots, the judges are happy, the judges are satisfied. Does the bubble gut actually matter anymore? As a consumer, I personally think I would like to see it disappear. My only concern is for Nick Walker, is that because he is so young and he has put so much thickness on his frame, especially in the midsection, I don't think going forward that's going to bode well for him in the midsection area alone. I think everywhere else he is looking incredible. This isn't a video to shame Big Ramy. This isn't a video to shame Nick Walker. My point is I need people to understand perspective and angles. The perspective of the judge, what they are looking for, are those boxes being ticked? Yes. Angles. When we see other photos, Big Ramy doing a back pose, obviously he's forcing his midsection out so he can taper in that. You get that Christmas tree. He's squeezing the traps together at the back. The rhomboid's getting all that crammed together and then pushing everything else out forward. Doesn't look good from the angle, but from the perspective of the judge, boxes are being ticked. Everything looks good. Everything looks symmetrical, and that's what they want. So it's angles, perspective, and what we want. What do we want? If they're ticking the boxes, these guys, you want mass monsters on stage, they're putting the mass on, but then we're complaining that, the midsections aren't looking right. But are they looking right in the poses they're supposed to be looking right in? That's what we've got to take away from this. So for me, I think Phil Heath hits it every time. I think he genuinely does. I think other shots, other angles, if he's doing a side tricep, I think he struggles to keep that waist sucked in, tapered in. Yeah, but so does a lot of the others. The problem is you're going to be focusing on the main guys on stage, and a lot of the other guys that have the same issues slip to the side because you're not focusing on them. If you've got your top 3 guys on stage and a top 10 lineup, you're looking in the middle. You're looking at the top 3 guys. So there are a lot of guys like Morgan asked. So Morgan asked, same sort of situation. So my point is, if they're ticking the boxes, they're hitting the poses, and they're still winning, is there an issue? Or are we trying to get these guys that are now mass monsters take a step back and go back an error and take a different approach to bodybuilding? That's what we've got to think of. That's what we've got to consider. As far as I'm concerned, boxes are being ticked, trophies are being won. I'm happy as a consumer of bodybuilding because this is the sport we're in now. The gut issue is an ongoing thing because we want them bigger. We always want bigger and better and bigger and better. So unfortunately, hand in hand, bigger muscle bellies, bigger bellies. On that note, guys, drop a comment below. What do you think? If boxes are being ticked, do you agree with me that it's angle and perspective of a judge, that a judge on looking says yes, he's ticking the boxes for me, and angle of some of these photos from behind. Normally it's sideways, so it's normally people in the wings of say the Olympia stage that get these sort of funny angled shots that show pronounced bellies, pronounced guts, when they've relaxed. You comment below. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm right? Do you think this is what bodybuilding is? Boxes are still being ticked and trophies are still being won. I've been me. You've been you. Peace.